Oh my god, I just listened to it again and I'm crying. Give me a minute. Gotta dab away tears out of my eyes. Why do I do this to myself? Welcome back, everybody, to the Hunter Loves VoicePlay podcast. Why not make a classic triple threat with, a third video coming out of me, Geoff edition, with his beautiful rendition of High and Dry. And I always think, when I sit down to do these, I always just kind of go off the cuff. But I realize, no, I have to reintroduce myself to the song, so then I have more to talk about, and it's fresh in my mind. So yeah, I just listened to it, and I'm wiping away tears, because, god dang it. Okay, let's get into this here. So, High and Dry was originally by Radiohead, and fun fact, the guy came home from a restaurant the one day, and he recorded the vocals while slumped in a corner, completely intoxicated. Geoff, on the other hand, does not do this. He is in a corner with a piano, but he's sober. Well, he also said that, he's very responsible with his alcohol limits, because I guess he overdid it at Ellie's wedding. Hasn't told us the story, but he said that too much whiskey. So there's a little bit fun fact there. Okay, so High and Dry. We start off with this beautiful kind of synthy kind of sound at the beginning, and then immediately we go right into the piano. And Geoff has a lot more piano talent than I could ever have. It's like just right at the beginning, you're like, oh boy, here we go. I think the first time I listened to it was when it first came out on YouTube. I'm still very confused on whether I was a patron or not when this one came out, but anyway. I'm listening to this and I'm just like, oh my god. This is just... It's like I'm not even 30 seconds in yet and I'm already beside myself. So he gets into the first verse. His voice is so smooth. Like he's just in that middle ground of his voice. It's just, smooth. And he kind of starts going a little bit higher. Like with this arrangement, he goes a little bit higher and a little bit lighter. High and dry. Which, is kind of a mix of both worlds. Because there is a whole... Well, I wouldn't say like there's dry. There wouldn't be any dry vocals in this, I wouldn't say. But there is, subharmonics and lower notes. He's just all over the place with his range in this one. And I absolutely love it. So he gets through the first verse. And, he's just playing this beautiful piano to accompany it. And then, as he's going along, we get into the chorus. And I wasn't expecting him to push it as high as he did in the chorus. But he does go very high on the word high, which I think was kind of an interesting move, I'd have to say, because it's like, but with Geoff, he's like, no, I'm gonna go up into the rafters a little bit here. It tickles my ears, it really does. And then, so, we're moving along, we get through the first chorus, and then the second verse gets me. And then there's like clapping and stomping before that just builds into the instrumental, like just to carry it along. Like again, story like arranging. He's telling a story of something. Yeah, the stomps and the claps I did not see coming, and I'm like, whoa, like hang on. I was very pleased by that the first time I heard it. I was like, okay, like this is different. And here I am, like I'm sitting, like in the first time when I listened to it, here I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, where are the harmonies? Where's the harmony going to come in with his clones? He didn't do it with this. No clones, no harmonization, just him, piano, a whole crap load of MIDI in his DAW. So there's that. It's beautifully executed. So we get to the second verse. Pardon me, I burped. So we get to the second verse. It starts off with like, drying out in conversation, you will be the one that cannot talk. And he's just in his like... I would say like falsetto at this point. Oh, it's just, I cry. It's like the tears. It's just I can't I can't express enough love for this one. It's just so pretty. Like, I didn't know how he was going to top this one, but then, he hit us with Shenandoah, so I was like, well, crap. But with this one, it's like... And the one lyric that sticks out to me the most with that verse is, and all your insides fall to pieces. You just sit there wishing that you could still make love. It's just the way he carries it on. It's just so pretty. And then he gets to there. And he kind of does like a mixed thing, I would say. Because he like kind of starts like kind of at the bottom, but then kind of like carries it on. And then he gets to like they're the ones that hate you. Like he's pushing it forward. Yeah, it's that execution I really enjoy, because it's just like he's carrying it along, he's doing his thing, and then he gets to the second last line of this verse, and he just does a vocal punch to it. He just pushes it forward on the there. Then once he gets to you'll be the one screaming out, he just goes for it. And then we go back into that lovely, lovely chorus where his voice is just going at the top and kind of staying there until he kind of swings his way, kind of Windex motion on a window back down. And then we get to the bridge. It's the best thing that you ever had. He gets down into the gritty. It's like we're going from super beautiful angelic highs to the low basement, all within a couple minutes. And it's like, dude, it's like, stop. So then that's like a vocal punch to your soul. At this point, you're listening to this part and you're like, Jesus, because it's just growl. Like, it's just so, well, I wouldn't say soft. Like, it's there. And it's rumbling your ear canal. And you're just like, oh, God. Like, it's just, whew. And, piano. And he's still carrying on with the piano. But then he also does, like, this kind of, like, build with it, too. He builds into it. And he builds into, because, like, he kind of starts off with, like, in the low, kind of, like, there's the best thing that you've ever had. And then he, like, goes up a little bit and just keeps on, like, climbing into the climatic build that comes up. Because then once he gets to the end of, it's the best thing that you've ever had, the best thing you have had has gone away. And he just, like, vocal punch again, kind of more of, like, that little rock tenor moment, I would say. And then there's this beautiful swell in the instrumental that just goes from that verse to the chorus. But I'm going to go back a little bit here, because once he gets to there's the best thing that you ever had, the instrumental changes and you get into like this like da 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 da, like it's just in the background, and it's just like I would just say like it's like kind of like he's almost pounding on the keyboard, like not to say that that's like the same sound analogy here, but it's just like he's just putting a little bit more force into that to carry it around and along rather. And I just absolutely love it. Like, it's just one of those parts where it's like you start bobbing your head because you're just like, oh, this is nice. And then it's just that beautiful swell of like cello. I think it was a cello. Pretty sure he said it was a cello. And he put it in there just for that transition, kind of like how he did in Shenandoah. He just had it swell and went into the second last chorus. And he's hitting some super high notes in this one that are completely beautiful. They're so gorgeous. And then we get to the end, and he does like this beautiful, I would say kind of like this octave climb at the end on the word high. And he just goes for it. And then he stops at the top. And my heart just swells every time I hear that, because I'm just like, oh, like for the last couple of times that I had listened to it, I was just like, oh my God, like this is, I thought it was pretty before, but then with repeated listening, I'm just like, oh my God, Geoff, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, whew. So takes me aback, and it gives me the goosebumps. I get those audible goosebumps from time to time, and I love it because it's just like, yes, this is what I live for. I live for those goosebumps. I live for somebody giving me that emotional experience, I would say. Like that emotional euphoria that it's like, you're going to cry to this, but you're also going to, like, your heart is going to swell because it's just like, I've done this thing and this is what it is. And people are sleeping on it. I tell you, people are sleeping on this one. It's like, come on, give this one more love and more attention, for crying out loud. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Geoff does amazing with the piano, and if you're able to listen to the karaoke version, I highly recommend it because it is gorgeous too. You kind of get to pick out a couple things. You get to pick out almost everything in it. Anyway, I'm trying to go back for a minute here. Yes, and even in the bridge, it's interesting because he's just all over the place in his range. Because it's like he starts out at that muddy, gritty place, and then it's like, he kind of just goes like, it's the best thing that you've ever had. The best thing that you've ever... Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the best thing. It's like up, down, and then up, down, and then down. And it's like I can't focus on one vocal here. You're going everywhere. But then I'm also realizing, I'm like, oh, hey, there's no harmonization. It's just him and a piano. And I love him for it. I love it for it. Because it's like, yes, harmonies are beautiful. The man can harmonize with himself. And I will get into that with later episodes. But just him being by himself and a piano, it just gives me more to focus on. Because when it comes to harmonies, I'm always trying to pick out like the higher harmony, or I'm trying to pick out the baritone, or I'm trying to pick out tenor 2, tenor 1. And it's like, it's like my head begins to hurt. But yeah, so I had just listened to it, and it's fresh in my mind, and I absolutely love it. And it always just takes me away. It just puts me into that place of like calm and, like I said, emotional euphoria, because it's just so beautifully done. I think he needs to do more of that, where it's just him and a piano. Like, no other harmonization from the clones. I love the clones, don't get me wrong. I love them to pieces. But it's like, just being able to hear him by himself is gorgeous as well. But I'm glad that, he does that for us. Like he does a couple of things where it's like, okay, hey, I've done this. It's just me. I've done this. It's my clones. I've done this. It's myself without my clones, possibly, like that type of thing. Like, it's like, I never know where he's going to go. And I'm always so happy once it comes out to the final product. Because I'm just like, what have you done with this song, man? And for this one in particular, for High and Dry, I was not very familiar with it. I was not familiar with Radiohead. I mean, I had heard Creep by Radiohead, but High and Dry I had never heard. And once I listened to the first one, I was like, what? I'm like, what is this? Like, this is just, yuck. Like, it just wasn't my taste. And once I heard Geoff's version, I'm like, okay, maybe I can go back and listen to the original and see, like what the differences are. Not that I make, comparisons. Once I listened to the original, I'm like, oh, this is like super different than this. And then I read the story about how the lead singer of Radiohead recorded the vocals while he was completely intoxicated. And I'm like, I mean, that's interesting. It's very interesting. It's a song about a girl that he dated at the time, and it was bad relationship. So, the which is usually where songs come from, is a part of heartbreak or some sort of emotional traumatic event, so to speak. High and Dry. Oh. Like, the first time I heard it, I was in tears, because I was just like, this is just so good. And then, like, even on, like, my 347th listen of it, I still, if I'm, by myself, and I have that moment to just chill out and listen to it, I listen to it with my eyes closed, and it's a completely different experience. Because, like, yes, the video is gorgeous. The video is nice. His hair is gorgeous. Oh my god. Gorgeous man, gorgeous voice, gorgeous piano, gorgeous arrangement. This episode has been brought to you by the word gorgeous. Yeah, and I didn't know what to expect when this one came out. And once I heard it on YouTube, I was like, oh my god, this is gorgeous. It was released at the beginning of the year. Actually, I have it right in front of me here. Let me take a look. It was released 2 years ago. So it was premiered on January 2nd of 2021. I had thought so. I was going to think that it was 2021, but 2021 escapes me. There's just so much in that year that had happened that it's like, oh my god, like where the heck am I? But, well, probably because a lot of COVID stuff had happened. So that was also another thing. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that. But this one was at the beginning of the year, and I was like, what an amazing way to bring in the year with this. Because, like, I hadn't heard anything about it, and I think it was mostly, like, just, because like, he had posted about it on his Instagram, and I was like, oh, I'm like, this is coming, okay, so then it's like, I click on it, and then I listen to it, and I'm just, dear God, cried for like an hour, listened to it again, cried for more. But it's so funny because it's like you go on that emotional journey with it that it's like, well, for me specifically, it's like we start out and then it's like, oh, like, you know, just that cathartic, just like, ooh, okay, this feels good. And then it's like you get to the middle and I start smiling because it's just like, he's just done such a great job with it. And it's just like, oh my God, yes. Like, this is what, not that I was expecting it, but it's like, this is just, it's beautiful. I mean, what can I say? That being said, go check it out for yourselves, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see you guys in the next one. I don't know what the next one's going to be. Well, I do know what the next one's going to be. But I think I might just walk away from all of the tear-jerking stuff for a minute and give you guys a break because, dear Dinah, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it anymore with this, especially just as continuously as I have been doing these. You know, True Colors and now High and Dry. Well, it was Shenandoah, True Colors, High and Dry. This hurts. I have no soul left, you guys. I'm burnt out. Okay, so there you go. Thanks so much for listening. Leave a like, subscribe, a comment. I'm going to put High and Dry link in the description. Go listen to it. Go cry. Enjoy it. You know, tell me what you think of it, and I will pass it on to Geoff myself. So, there's that. Okay, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon.